It is with the utmost joy that we, Ed's children, our spouses, Ed's grandchildren, their spouses, and Ed's great-grandchildren, welcome all of you to this most prestigious occasion. We are thrilled beyond belief that our father is receiving the Knight of the French Legion of Honor medal, 70 years after his service to the people of France in World War II. And we know that his beloved wife of 67 years, Nellie, is watching from heaven, and she's very proud of her husband. Please stand.
Mr. Kregor, you are among us to help us remember. At the moving ceremonies organized on June 6, 2014, a few months back, in Normandy, in the presence of President Obama, the French President, François Hollande, paid tribute to the veterans of the Second World War. Twice last century, in 1917 and 1944, American soldiers restored freedom to my country, France, and to Europe. The French people will never forget what we owe America. Our steadfast friend, partner, and ally. From Lafayette and Yorktown to the battlefields of World II and the shores of Normandy, our two countries have always stood shoulder to shoulder to defend and promote the values of freedom and democracy that are the core of who we are. On that 6th of June of immortal memory, the tide turned. To quote again the French President François Hollande, the D-Day landing changed the course of the history of humanity. Victory was still far off. There was much suffering to come, but hope was alive again at last. 70 years later, it is that same hope, that same ideal that we owe to those men whom we can never forget. To us, the French people, the American veterans are heroes. On behalf of the French government and of the French people, I would like to thank all the veterans. Your engagement is an example, an obligation for us and for future generations. There can be no future without memory. The torch you carried so high and so far, the torch of freedom, of dignity and respect for mankind, of justice and democracy, still lights our way. Faced with uncertainties of a changing world, let us strive to remain loyal to the legacy, the sacrifice, and the values of the heroes who liberated France. Now I would like to bestow upon Mr. Kregor the French Legion of Honor, and with this decoration, honor and show our eternal gratitude to all the veterans. Mr. Ed Kregor entered military service in December 1943 at age 24. He served as a B-24 co-pilot in the 8th Air Force in the 467th Bomb Group, a group that set an unsurpassed record for bombing accuracy. Mr. Kregor took part in the Carpetbagger operation, a special operation that the OSS asked the US Army Force to conduct from England. From June 12, 1944 through September 15, 1944, Mr. Kregor flew 34 Carpetbagger mission sorties deep into the heart of German-occupied France, in Normandy and northern France. Part of his missions including dropping supplies, mortars, machine guns, as well as British spies for the French resistance forces and for the French Maquis. Each mission was dangerous, clandestine, carried out at a very low level altitude on moonlit moonlit nights, so that visual navigation relied on using rivers, lakes, railroad tracks, and towns as checkpoints. It was often a close call when the enemy was in the targeted area. The mission had to be aborted at the very last minute. Mr. Kregor's task of the 467th was also to engage in very long-range strategic bombardment operations over occupied Europe and Nazi Germany. For his bravery, Mr. Kregor has received several military awards from the American government, including the Distinguished Flying Cross, the Air Medal with 3 oak leaf clusters, the European, African, Middle Eastern Theatre Medal with 4 bronze stars, the Victory Medal for the World War II American Theatre Ribbon, and 1 overseas service bar. Mr. Kregor, you were, thanks to your courage, to France, American friends and allies, France has been living in peace for 7 decades. The longest period of continuous peace in modern French history. 70 years ago, Mr. Kregor, you were ready to sacrifice your young life to our freedom for a country that was not even yours. Now it is. The images of those days are part of our collective memory. Gratitude and remembrance are forever in our souls. Every French person has a special place in his heart, in their heart for you. Mr. Kregor, to show our gratitude, the President of the French Republic has decided to award you the Legion of Honor. It was created by Napoleon Bonaparte in 1802. It is the highest honor that my country can bestow upon those who have achieved remarkable deeds for France. Mr. Kregor, you wanted France to be free and you fought to liberate France. What higher deeds than yours? Mr. Kregor, I'm pleased and honored to present you with the insignia today in front of you loved ones and friends. I have to say some official words in France, which means, in the name of the President of the French Republic, I present you with the Medal of Knights of Legion of Honor.
Accept this Knight of the Legion of Honor Medal from the people of France with much humility, while remembering the many, many Americans who gave up their lives in World War II. I never dreamed that 70 years ago, when our crew was flying over France, behind enemy lines, in the dark of night, alone, in a pitch black B-24 with no lights or armament, searching for our target, which was 3 small bonfires in a row somewhere in France, that I would be eligible for such an honor. Our country has always been willing to help another nation in trouble, and so it was in World War II. There was a very small bit of that help then, Mr. Floriani, and probably and humbly accept this honor from the people of France. Merci beaucoup. Many people were involved in spending long hours in arranging this celebration and in their care for me over the years. My daughter Mary and her husband Dale Perona, my daughter Pat and her husband Steve Markle, my son Jim Kregor and his wife Paula, my son Phil and his wife Donna, she is not here today, and my caregiver Pam Yannicus. I am truly grateful to all of them. And I also thank you, all my relatives and friends, for coming to share this great occasion with me. Thank you very much.
Hey!